Greetings fellas! Thank you very much for tuning in, and also before we start the video, I want to thank you all for being more and more to watch the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much guys. Now here we are with the second installment of our exploration of the 24 to 105 RF lens from Canon f4 to 7.1. Last time we explored the 24 and this time we're going to explore the 35, which is a more conventional lens for street photography. To explore the 35 focal length, I went to a place in the northeast of Osaka City called Ishikiri Jinja. It's a shrine. The place in itself is very interesting. This is a nice building with many ways to visit around, but also there is a shopping street nearby which has this retro Japanese vibe that I affectionate. So in the first part of the video, I will experiment the 35 in a wide area, and then in the second part, I will use it in a narrow street. So you're going to have a better understanding of what this focal length produces. Now let's get to the video. On my way from the station to Ishikiri, I came across this flower shop, and it was just a warm-up for me to take some videos and pictures. It's windy, so I don't know how much you're gonna hear me, but I like the shadow of the tree on this old fashion building shop, and I guess that's the tree maybe with the sun behind. Yeah, I think it's nice. So let me explain the different shots you saw in this first part of the video, starting with the last one. So I thought this lineup of statues were interesting, but you have a fence right behind as well as a wall, so all these are kind of in the way of the subject. So what I did is I first of all cropped the picture again, just like for the 24mm. With the 35 you can crop your picture to make it look wider. So that's the first thing I did. Then the second is I removed all the colors from the picture to try to blend everything in, and then I only recovered the pink aprons of the statues, which gives a nice accent to the statues and emphasizes them while the background merge into this black and white. So this is one of the techniques I do. I called it hybrid photo because it's not black and white, it's not full color, but it's a little bit of both. And this is a good way to accentuate your subject while getting rid of all the distractions. As for the other shots, I wanted to show that with the 35 you can take buildings, architecture photography, as well as detail shots like the statues in the window. Now back to the film. So I noticed this little red flag here in this kind of nice window with origami inside, and I thought it will make a it will make for an interesting foreground with the tori in the back, but I need a human subject coming in, and I need the wind to cooperate and not push the flag too much into the frame. So I'm gonna see if I can get what I want. Now, I didn't really get what I wanted with this picture. I wish the man was more in the center of the frame, but the other shots, what he was doing with the umbrella was not so interesting. So this one was the most interesting of the bunch of pictures I took. As you can see, the red flag is a little bit in the way, giving some mystery and depth to the picture. Then you have the subject in the middle ground and the tori in the background. So it gives like a 3D or a picture with depth. And although it's not perfect, I'm pretty happy with it. So I guess the main entrance is that tori I was at, but let's go explore this way. I really like the morning light on this extinguisher, fire extinguisher over there. I'm not gonna get a picture because I'm not so sure, but just looking at it feels nice. Anyway, so this is the second time I come here, and oh, this is also nice. The light on the tree. Wow. Let me see. Can I get the sun somewhere? Where is it? Ah, okay. Wow. Noise. Oh, that's I'm gonna take a picture here maybe. The 35 is a good focal length to capture scenes and convey story, as you can see here with the mother, the kid, and the context around them. This is my favorite photography of the session. I'm pretty happy with this. So again, I cropped the top and the bottom, if I remember well, to make it look wider. And the 35 is good, as I said earlier, to really capture both the subject and the scene around it. So here you can see the two ladies, I think we say Maiko, I'm not sure. And you have the tories on one side and a part of the building on the other side. You have that pillar in the middle, but because you can see a little bit of the ceiling, it explains why the pillar is here, and it gives, at least in my opinion, a cohesive look to the picture. I also like the shadows, the highlights, and the colors of this picture. I might try to print it. Here I wanted to capture the kid in this rectangle of light you can see on the floor. It's not exactly what I wanted, but that's street photography. You don't exactly get what you have in mind, what you expect. But I think the picture is still good. There are subjects, there is the scene around, contrast, highlights, shadow, And I also like the red frame that the bridge creates over the subject. Here, second attempt to get the subject in this rectangle of light on the floor. The first one obviously is not a miss, but I was hoping that the man wearing the hakama was going to walk into this rectangle of light. It was not the case. Still, I think it's an interesting picture. The second one is almost what I wanted. You have the subject partly in the light and partly in the shadow with a diagonal, how do you call that? Crossing the body. And you have his shadow in the rectangle of light on the floor with, again, a nice scene around thanks to the 35mm. With this picture, you can see that there is much less distortion with the 35 focal length than with the 34 we explored last video. Here are some photographs of the everyday life of that shopping street I told you with this very retro vibe.今日は何時始めましたか、仕事。
今日は9時半です。
9時半。
9時半。
何時まで？
何時まで？今日4時まで。
4時まで。頑張ってね。
ありがとうございます。
Look, guys, there is a mouth here, smiling mouth. You can see the teeth at the top. This scene here is very interesting. Look at all the colors. You have the red, the yellow, the white. You have some leading lines here. You have some shadows and the light path. And I was hoping that I could see a shadow of a person before the person gets in the frame. But the sun is too upstraight, so it doesn't really make like a long shadow, but it's an interesting scene, interesting composition to work with. This scene also is interesting. Again, you have the yawn, making some color in the frame, the blue sky, the shadows, the light here, and the perspective. It's very interesting scene. I like this street. So here we have a photograph that I have experimented with. You can see, maybe if you pay attention, to the bottom right of the picture, there is no color. I actually erased the color on this spot. But I wanted to keep, obviously, the yellow of the awning, how do you call those, up there, as well as the reds here and there along the way, and the blues also in the back. So you have all these popping colors on the upper left of the picture, and down to the right it's black and white. This is the first time I do this, and I don't know what you think, but I think it works for this picture at least, and it's interesting to experiment with your pictures. And the reason why I removed the colors on the bottom right is that it was too distracting what I wanted to capture. Tell me what you think in the comment section. I often see these people running their shop even they are getting really old, and many times they fall asleep in the shop, and it's always an interesting scene to photograph for me. I kind of like taking pictures of old people. I feel that they tell a story. And the battery of the Canon R8 died on me. I could not finish to explore the Shotengai, that shopping street. So definitely carry a secondary battery with you, just for peace of mind, especially if you take both pictures and videos. If it's just pictures, maybe you might manage to run a full session, couple of hours or more. But if you do take videos like 4K like I do, you really need a second battery. Anyway, now back to the subject. So as you could see in this video, the 35 is a very versatile focal length. You can take pictures of wide scenes like buildings, landscapes, as well as focus on the subject with the scene around it, or even do some detailed shots, photographies. And all of that with much less distortion than with the 24mm. Actually, I didn't see much distortions in those pictures. Tell me what you think. So my final thought is that the 35mm is a much easier lens for street photography than the 24mm, even though the 24 has its benefits. So if I had to choose between the 24 or 35mm focal length for street photography, I will go with the 35mm. Your opinions are welcome in the comment section, and next time we will continue the series with the 50mm focal length, which is probably the focal length I use the most. Now again, I leave you with few more shots, and I see you in the next video. I don't say that, I say enjoy the ride and spread the love.